do you lose when you buy a compact mini truck as opposed to a standard mid-size truck? Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to Rob Motive MT. So I'm out here cruising around, and I've been thinking, given the recent popularity of the compact or mini-size trucks, what do you really lose when you buy one of those as opposed to the standard mid-size truck, like a Toyota Tacoma, Nissan Frontier, Chevy Colorado, something like that? So I've been thinking about that, and one of the first things that comes to mind, I suppose, is the rear seat room, at least when you look at it as compared to the Toyota Tacoma. And I'm talking about the Hyundai Santa Cruz. There is definitely less room in the Santa Cruz as compared to the Toyota Tacoma. Now, when does this really come into play? Well, really only, I suppose, if you have family members or people that you haul in the back frequently. I mean, honestly, if you don't haul people in the back, 3 or 4 inches of room is not that big a deal, unless you're trying to sleep back there or something that I probably wouldn't do because I'm just a shade too tall to be able to do that. And I'm not a real tall guy coming in at 5'9.5". But nonetheless, there is less room back there, and you definitely lose a little bit if you opt for the compact size truck, the Santa Cruz, as opposed to something like the Toyota Tacoma. What about hauling capacity? The numbers, when you look at them at face value, seem to be pretty darn good for the Santa Cruz. It's even more, I believe, as far as payload capacity than the Toyota Tacoma, until you dig a little bit deeper. If you look at all of the verbiage on the Santa Cruz, it says you're only supposed to haul about 600 pounds or so in the bed. That's it. Now, that's not very much. If you look at the Toyota Tacoma, it's about twice, a little bit more than that. And they don't specify that you should only haul a certain amount in the bed. It would appear that you can haul whatever's left after you sitting in the truck and whatever else you put in there. You can haul that in the bed. So let's say it's, 1,400 pounds. I forget right off the top of my head. But let's say it's 1,400 pounds and you got a couple of 200-pounders in there. I don't quite weigh that, but I'm getting closer. So you take 400 pounds off the payload capacity and you've got 1,000 pounds that you can throw in the bed. 400 pounds more than you can put in the bed of the Hyundai Santa Cruz. Now, a little caveat to this, it would start to equal out if you do put, let's say, 4 200-pound people in your front or in your cab area. That's 800 pounds. 800 from 1,400 leaves you 600 pounds to haul. That would be equivalent to what the Hyundai Santa Cruz bed would have. I keep pointing to the back. I'm actually in a Mercedes. There's no bed back there right now. So you lose a little bit of payload capacity depending on what you're hauling around in the truck. What about stance? Obviously, the Santa Cruz is a lower vehicle. It doesn't have the same kind of a stance that a mid-sized truck does. It's not lifted up in the air. People are lifting the Santa Cruz. I don't know that people are doing that in droves. The Santa Cruz is not a vehicle that I would lift. I just don't think that, I don't think it looks good, for one. And I don't think that it's really designed for that. If you're looking to lift a truck, I think you probably are better off to buy a standard, traditional mid-sized truck. Bigger wheels and tires, they just don't fit on the Santa Cruz either. That's another difference. If you're looking to trick out your Toyota Tacoma or mid-sized truck with bigger wheels and tires, it's really not something that fits well on the Santa Cruz. I've seen people do it, and I've seen problems. I've seen a lot of scraping on the fender wells, the inner liner. I've seen where it hits the fender edges themselves. It's just not designed for that. The standard or stock wheel and tire setup that it comes with barely fits in the truck itself. I'm not even sure that it wouldn't rub in the wrong situation. What about off-road prowess or prowess? Definitely not in the Santa Cruz. It's too low. And it's not a selectable full-time four-wheel drive, which is something I think you really need. If you're an avid four-wheeler and off-roader, the Hyundai Santa Cruz is not for you. It's not designed for the rougher areas that a traditional mid-size truck like the Tacoma can go into. And I don't care what you do to it. You can lift it if you choose to go down that road. You can put the bigger wheels and tires on, assuming you go down that road. And you're still not going to do well off-road because the powertrain, or the drivetrain, I should say, the powertrain is fine, but the drivetrain is really not designed for that. It's a part-time all-wheel drive. In other words, if it needs to utilize the other wheels, it will, but it's not going to be selectable full-time all the time if you wanted to do that. So definitely not something that you're going to want to use as an off-road beast. The other thing that I'll mention is modability. Now, part of this might be because the truck is new. You know, obviously, it takes a while for the aftermarketers to come up with parts and things. And, you know, speaking of this, it's interesting. Someone commented, I think it was on this channel, actually, about the manufacturer should give, the operative word there, give a Santa Cruz or two to the aftermarket communities so that they can go ahead and engineer aftermarket parts for the truck. You know, that's a lot to ask. I would think that the aftermarketers should be buying the Santa Cruz. In other words, as soon as it's available, they ought to be picking up a base model so that they can go ahead and design all of the aftermarket stuff that they want and then offer it to the public. But for the manufacturers to give one, what's in it for them? I don't know. But back to the subject there. There aren't a lot of aftermarket parts. So if you're big time into aftermarket stuff, doing your own mods, maybe putting your own personal touch on the truck, not something that you're going to be able to do a lot of, at least not right away. It's going to be a while before the aftermarketers catch up and get a lot of stuff out there available for the Santa Cruz. Now, it's not that there aren't things out there right now. There are, but they're pretty easy, simple things to do, primarily aesthetic things. I mean, I know you can throw a tonneau cover on, and that does have a function. You can throw a hitch on, and that obviously has a function. And of course, there's lighting and things like that. But there's really not a lot otherwise. Not a lot in the way of lifts and wheels and tires, in my opinion, that fit really well with the Hyundai Santa Cruz. Anyway, I just wanted to get on here, kind of talk about that a little bit. You know, can you completely replace or buy a Hyundai Santa Cruz or a compact mid-size truck or a compact mini truck in lieu of a mid-size? And I would say probably not, but of course it depends on your own personal situation and what you're going to do with it. As a grocery go-getter and a weekend warrior type vehicle, it's awesome. Got plenty of room in the back because it does have the bed where you can throw the dirty stuff and not have to mess up your SUV interior. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think. If you've kind of been on the fence, maybe you decided to go with a mid-size as opposed to a compact or mini size, why did you do it? What tipped the scale for you towards the mid-size? I'd be curious to know. Also, real quick, I do have 2 additional channels. Rob Motive, all about Toyota Tacomas, and Rob Motive JT, all about Jeep Gladiators. Check them out, and if you're interested, why not subscribe? Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.